Everyone, I'm Craig Johnson, and welcome to this edition of Supercard as we take a look at some of the matches from the past here in the Global Wrestling Federation, some matches that you may not have had a chance to see here on ESPN. We call it the best of Supercard, and that means you'll get to see the best in action. We will see exotic Adrian Street. Now, here's this light heavyweight man from overseas in England. He is a man that has been known for being extravagant, to say the least. He takes on hustler Rip Rogers. We'll see Doug Summers and the Zebra Kid against Gary Young and Brian Adias in tag team action from the early days of the Global Wrestling Federation. We will see Big Bully Busick on this edition. I know that Big Bully Busick has been traveling around the world wrestling, and I got a hunch that he would like to be able to see action back here in the Global Wrestling Federation. Bull Payne in action. This man comes down with Samantha, and we'll take a look at Bull Payne in action. Plus, we'll see a six-man tag team match, and the Patriot will take on Hollywood John Tatum. Some great action, but right now I want to bring in the current GWF television champion, Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert.
Well, I just want to relay something over to the people right now, to you, Craig. As you know, I'm very happy with the Global Wrestling Federation before we come to these tapings that they lay out this great buffet. And I'm very happy that today I can actually say I got here today and there was still some food left since the John Sununu of professional wrestling, Joe Pedicino, wasn't here today to eat all the food. I'm very, very happy with that fact. I'm very content right now. I have a full belly. And now I can tell all these stinking people out here, when they turn on the Global Wrestling Federation, you are seeing the very best in professional wrestling because I'm here. And why don't you just ask me why I think I'm so good?
Why, Mr. Gilbert, do you think you're so good?
Because I'm the only champion in wrestling who defends against everybody.
Craig Johnson here with Sam Houston, and you've been having a little bit of trouble with a lady named Samantha.
Yeah, I have. I got a few things to say. You know, Bull Payne, I've watched you. I've been in the ring with you. You're one of the biggest, baddest wrestlers around. You don't need some woman at ringside. Let me tell you something. Samantha, you are a pretty lady, and you go down there and you do your job well, and your job is distracting people, but you don't need to be at ringside messing with me or getting into my face or getting into my business. Bull Payne, when it comes down to me and you, I think I'm the better wrestler. Yeah, you're a little bit bigger and you're a little bit badder, but I'm a little bit quicker and a little bit smarter, and I can do the moves better, and I can jump up in the air and drop kick you in the nose anytime I want to, boy. So I tell you what, you bring Samantha on down. If you want to take care of business, I'll take care of business. Just slide on in the ring, leave Samantha downstairs, leave her away from the ring. Me and you get together, I tell you what, Sam Houston will come out on top.
Sam Houston with a plan against Bull Payne and Samantha, as long as Samantha stays out of the way. Well, there's the hustler, Rip Rogers. And, by the way, is that a real Rolex he sold you?
Yeah, right,
Shut
Craig.
up out there!
All right, there you see the exotic one. And he is rather unusual. Our fans at Global who have not seen him, he's been wrestling overseas, and that's the kind of move we're talking about right there. You've got your English style of wrestling, if you will.
Well, he was the European heavyweight champion at one time. Ever since he became a professional wrestler at the age of 16.
Very young man getting into the business, and he has got talent that folks around the United States, I think, are going to be very interested in seeing. He did a tour of the United States several years ago, but he's not been wrestling very much in the States for the past several years. When he found out that Global Wrestling Federation was coming to the U.S., he came in, and you can see that he is quite a scientific wrestler. He does use that European style of move that I think is going to make him very popular. And as you see now, that was the flat of the boot, and that was an elbow. That was an English uppercut, if you will.
And taking an English leap onto the hustler was Adrian Street. Street, a man very well versed in boxing also, but right now using his scientific wrestling talents against the man who was Mr. Central USA in bodybuilding a few years ago, Rip Rogers from Seymour, Indiana, who lifts his weight at 222.2 pounds.
Very precise hustler.
I'm surprised he didn't say 222 pounds and 95 cents the way he tries to sell things to everybody.
Yeah, don't ever buy a used car from Rip Rogers. The odds are it doesn't belong to him to begin with.
Well, hello. How are you?
A standing scissors, a standing leg scissors. And what is Street going to do out of it?
Oh, my.
Well,
Check, please. Check, please. That's what Hustler Rip Rogers is saying.
yes, I don't think Rogers is very happy with what has happened. And look at Street now. He comes at you from every direction, and Hustler is getting hustled.
Well, I think he's had just about enough. Hustler Rip Rogers now going after the Exotic one. Now brings the forearms into the throat of Exotic. Adrian Street now taking the muscle, and now it's just an out-and-out chokehold by the Hustler.
Rip Rogers ripping the face of Adrian Street.
We're talking about two men here that have vast amounts of experience. Rip Rogers' career began back in 1977, facing former WWF World Champion Ivan Koloff.
Oh, well, he's had quite an upbringing in wrestling. Now, wait a minute. I see trouble headed to the ringside. I would have told you an hour ago that this would not be a problem when Norman goes to ringside, but this isn't Norman. This is Mucka Singh, as he says. Norman is out the window, Mucka Singh, and he says the boss has told him this and the boss has told him that. Do you think that Rip Rogers could be the boss?
Well, that's one explanation for a possible alliance between the two. Count of 1.5 for the Hustler. Rip Rogers now trying to take some of the face makeup, if you will, off Exotic Adrian Street.
Very dangerous situation for the Exotic Adrian Street. Right now, he's being pummeled in the ring by Rip Rogers. Of course, Rogers using fist and any other shortcuts that he can come up with. There's a headbutt to Exotic Adrian Street.
Rip Rogers claiming to be the most fit man in professional wrestling. I think he sold the biographer a bill of goods on that one. He may be in good condition, but I don't know if he's the most fit man in
I was
wrestling.
going to say the Patriot may have something to say with that. Now, Mucka Singh is causing some problems at ringside because he keeps talking to the referee. Did you see that? Adrian Street shifted his weight at just the precise time, and Rip Rogers not able to hold him up. But Rogers up first, comes back with a big double club to the back of the head. And there you see Mucka Singh at ringside. And I don't know why. I would like to find out, but to be honest with you, I'm afraid to go near the man again.
Well, the European heavyweight champion a couple of years ago having his troubles with a man who held a Caribbean belt or two. Hustler Rip Rogers now says, hey, I've got the whole world in my hands right here, and I'm ready to sell you on the fact that I'm going to be the winner.
Rogers takes Adrian Street into the ropes. He comes off. Adrian goes over, rolls him over. The 1-2, almost a 3 count as Adrian Street on instinct has been able to pull that one out, but I don't think he's got his strength back yet, Craig.
Nightmare by the Hustler, and the Hustler says, hey, I've got this one. Watch this. No! Nobody home. The Exotic one out of the way.
Where'd he go? That's what Rip Rogers was wanting to know. Where did he go? And now Street takes him, tosses Adrian in, comes off, and now look at this. Comes around, rolls him up. 1, 2, and Mucka Singh comes in the ring.
What is he doing in the ring, and what's his alliance with Hustler Rip Rogers?
Mucka Singh has jumped in the ring and is now beating on Exotic Adrian Street. Obviously, this will be a disqualification. Mucka Singh and Rip Rogers, we've got to find out more about this situation. We've got to find out more about why these two are taking on as partners, or are they a team, or what's going on? It looks like it's going to be carnage for Adrian Street. We're going to break away from this. We've got some information for you. We got to get this broken up, but we'll be back with more on Major League Wrestling.
Down to ringside, the team of gorgeous Gary Young and Brian Adias teaming up in the Global Wrestling Federation, taking on a very tough team.
I was just going to say they're taking on the team of Doug Summers and Kenny the Stinger. Doug Summers, of course, one half of the former AWA World Tag Team Champions. Kenny the Stinger, a young man who has come a long way in wrestling in the past 2 years. A very tall, lanky guy, and I think this could be quite an interesting match as the team of Brian Adias and Gary Young team up.
Now, when you talk about tag team wrestling with Brian Adias and Gary Young, you're talking championships, too.
That's correct.
Brian Adias held at one time the world-class tag team belts, while gorgeous Gary Young held both the world-class and USWA tag team belts.
Yep. And so now I'm sure that in a few weeks, when we start our tag team tournament, the course, which we will be handling and showing you here on Major League Wrestling. I'm sure this team is looking forward to being in that tournament, Craig.
Of course, we'll bring you up to date on the doings of the television tournament still to come on this edition of Major League Wrestling. Right now, it's a man who considers himself a pretty boy. Doug Summers going against gorgeous Gary Young in the Battle of the Beauties.
I was going to say, the pretty boy takes on the gorgeous one here. We'll have to see which one of them comes out on top. Doug Summers wraps up Gary, headlock. Summers goes off, comes off the rope. Gary Young's not to be found, and up and over. And he came down at least 10 feet, Craig.
I think Doug Summers wants some Doan's Pills, and how about a couple for Kenny the Stinger? As they both meet the mat, James Beard in there saying, okay, you all tagged. Punishment for both of you. I can't help it. Gary Young getting the best of both men. Now the tag into Brian Adias going up to the high side. Coming down.
I think he's hurt the arm of Kenny the Stinger right off the bat.
There's Brian Adias. Comes down with a knee on Kenny the Stinger. Stinger 265 pounds, over 6'4". Originally from Santa Monica, California. Meeting a tough man from Lake Dallas, Texas. Stinger just picks him up, but can't get him down. Is holding on is Brian Adias.
What a great move by Brian Adias. He is right now tagging to his partner, Gary Young. And Young comes in and stays on that arm. This is the mark of a good tag team. That is, they stay on that arm. They're like two bulldogs. They get on that arm, and they're not going to let go until they've done some damage. And look at the fast tags from the team of Young and Adias. This team, I think, is going to go a long way in the Global Wrestling Federation.
You're talking about a big elbow, but just as big a shoulder block by Kenny the Stinger. Adias maybe trying to get a little bit of the wind back, but Kenny the Stinger right on top of him, putting his head right into the turnbuckle. And now, big chop right to the sternum area. Adias said, I've had enough. Time to take care of business.
All right, look at this. Adias right down. Summers was going to come in, but his partner kicked out. But another tag now. The team of Young and Adias have tagged in at least 4-1, the same number of times as their opposition. And I tell you something, Craig, as you're aware, and I'm sure our fans are, that's the mark of a successful team in the Global Wrestling Federation, is a team that does a lot of fast tagging in and out.
And to my knowledge, they have not appeared in tag team competition on television. Of course, behind the scenes, they may very well have been teaming up together right now. Doug Summers in trying to get the best of gorgeous Gary Young.
Well, you know something, Craig, when you take a look at all the new talent coming into the Global Wrestling Federation, you got to know there's going to be some new teams, there's going to be some new combinations, and there's going to be some people that are going to be causing a lot of havoc here in the Global Wrestling Federation. And over the next few weeks, our fans are going to be seeing more and more of these stars, including, I'm very happy to say a little bit later in this program, I will have the opportunity to interview a good friend of mine, and that's Norman.
He's here.
Norman is here, and I am so happy because I will be interviewing Norman a little bit later on in the program. We haven't talked to each other since our days together in the NWA.
And I don't believe the name that's on our sheet here, The Patriot, is
The Patriot,
here.
That's right.
Oh, in the ring.
Look at this.
Kenny the Stinger trying to take some of the sting out of gorgeous Gary Young. And pretty boy Doug Summers, oh, now he's a tough man. He says, come on, bring it on. Now that Kenny the Stinger has done all the work.
Obviously, the tactics that the team of Summers and Kenny the Stinger are going to use are going to be to try and overcome the fast tags and the talent of Adias and his partner, Gary Young, by using some dirty tricks.
Now the teaming of the Stinger and the pretty boy going pretty well. Adias wanted to get in there, try to break it up, but all it's doing is sending him back to the corner, letting Kenny the Stinger do some dirty work on gorgeous Gary Young. Gorgeous Gary Young in the wrong corner if he's looking for a tag as the Stinger stings him with a chop. Gary Young trying to come back. A couple of blows to the midsection. 3 times now they're just going at it. Stinger holds onto the arm of gorgeous Gary Young while tagging the pretty boy.
And the pretty boy takes over, comes in. There's a big elbow to the back of the neck. Gary Young in tough times now. as he is here in the Global Dome, and he is in the middle of our brand new ring of the 1990s. And you're going to be seeing a lot of new innovations from Global Wrestling, things that we think you're going to be very pleased with right now. I'm sure Gary Young's not very happy. There was an elbow right to the sternum area.
As a matter of fact, out in the suggestion box, I would say Gary Young would probably say, I don't think that's a good idea to come down on me like that. But right now, count of one. But that's all he gets his foot over the rope.
What a great tag team match we're having here on Major League Wrestling today. Still a lot of action to come, including, as we said, we're going to be interviewing Norman, and we've got some more great matches coming up. Some stars I'm looking forward to seeing.
As a matter of fact, in addition to the stars, the fans, such a big part of the Global Wrestling Federation.
Double teaming. Look at that double teaming on the part of the team of Summers and Kenny the Stinger. And you know, one of the things we're going to be doing in the coming weeks, Bonnie Blackstone will be here with us on the Global Wrestling Federation on Major League Wrestling. She is going to actually be sitting right in the audience. We're going to go to her during the show. She's going to tell us what the fans are thinking about during Major League Wrestling.
Matter of fact, we just saw one of those viewer comments, but as we go around the ring, she'll be all over this.
That's right. Well, what I'm saying is she'll actually be out in the audience during the matches.
In the audience?
In the audience, Craig.
Okay, now I'm understanding where you're coming from. Having trouble understanding where they're going. Brian Diaz and gorgeous Gary Young right here. Doug Summers with the big size 12 boot taking advantage of gorgeous Gary Young. Kenny the Stinger, gorgeous Gary Young, the legal man in the ring. Stinger gonna try for the pile driver. Tries to get him once, tries to get him twice. Backdrop by gorgeous Gary Young.
Young is hurt though. Young needs to get over and make a tag. Brian Diaz is over there just yelling at Gary Young to come and make the tag. One of these two men are going to make a tag, and I think it's going to make a big difference. Young's going to the wrong corner. He's lost his bearing. It's behind you, Gary. He sees him now. He's going after Diaz, and there's the tag.
Here comes Diaz, and he's ready for action.
And
he meets the pretty boy at the rope. Has a message for Kenny the Stinger. Joint meeting of the minds.
Beautiful move. Drop kick now by Diaz. Gary Young is going over. He has got the Doug Summers. In the meantime, in the ring, all four men of mayhem has broken out here. Well, what's going to happen now? It's going to be a meeting of the minds between these two. And there's a roll-up. Kenny the Stinger is down. 1, 2, 3, and that's it. There you have it. Great teamwork on the team of Brian Diaz and Gary Young.
There's the team of Brian Diaz and gorgeous Gary Young. Big Bully music from Powerhouse Hill in Weirton, West Virginia. Somebody's brought a Mario doll down. Uh-oh. That's not the way to make friends and influence sweet Mario. No. That's the Big Bully. He may not be the tallest man in the world, Scott Hudson, but I tell you, I wouldn't want to meet him in any alley.
Absolutely not, Craig. I don't want to make him go into World 3, World 4, or World 6. I don't want him to have to capture any princess I know. He is the Big Bully music, and look at him just trying to intimidate senior official Sean O'Brien. He will have none of it, and what in the world? Look at that.
Placing the cigar back into its case. The fans aren't saying Mario, but I'm sure that if Big Bully gets into some of his tactics, they'll pick up the chant quite quickly.
He's got enough pre-match rituals down there, Craig. I wonder if he's going to get a mat on the ring and bow to the east and throw salt or something. He's done about everything else in there.
Ray Evans, the opponent and there's the Mario chant being picked up.
He does not like that at all.
I would watch out. Well, surprise.
Well.
And then surprise again.
Ray Evans caught unsuspecting by the Big Bully music, offered his hand as a token of sportsmanship, if you will, but then offered his boot as a token of unsportsmanship. Good night. Look at that mug.
Mug indeed. Evans into the ropes, elbow from the Big Bully. Now, I understand, Scott, that the competition committee has been looking into the use of the heart punch, which he calls the bully blaster.
I was going to mention that, Craig. He calls it the bully blaster. He will argue until the cows come home that it is not a heart punch. He says it's the bully blaster. It's not in any way relative to the heart punch made famous by the likes of Ox Baker many, many years ago.
And Stasiak also.
Stan Stasiak won several world titles with the heart punch. But this isn't a heart punch. He says it's a bully blaster.
Now, Ray Evans tried to come back with the boot to the face, but Big Bully just stood there as though it didn't do any damage. Well, on Big Bully Busick, how much damage could you do?
Well, he's had so many boots to the face, as evidenced by that mug he's got. It probably doesn't affect him anymore. He's got so much scar tissue, he can't feel it. Poor Ray Evans is really feeling the brunt of the attack of Big Bully Busick. Something is wrong with Busick. He is just on the fans. He's destroying poor Ray Evans in there. He's a man with a mission. I wonder what that mission is. He is really, really on a rampage here.
I don't know if that's one of the topics that Joe Pedicino has to talk about in the News Center, but the News Center coming up right after this match. Still yelling out the fans about calling him Mario.
Well, you'd think the fans would learn by now, Craig, that, oh, what am I saying? Call him Mario.
Well, maybe it's like the little kid. You tell them not to do something, and the first thing they do is do it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I wonder what Big Bully was like as a little kid.
Probably just like you described there, Craig. Everything he was told to do, the first thing he did was turn around and do it just to be pure mean. This guy, he was the guy that took your milk money. He was the guy that took your lunch money. He's the one that asked your sister to the prom and then stood her up.
Not my sister. I don't know. I honestly don't think I'd let this guy go out with my sister, but I wouldn't have much of a choice, I believe. Here's Big Bully Busick, sends Evans down, brings him down with a power slam.
That
Big
right there,
Bully Busick.
That should finish Ray Evans. He could get the pin right now. Quite obviously, Ray Evans is a beaten man, but look at the Bully. Picking him right back up, and here we go.
Sets him up. He calls it the Bully Blaster. This one is over.
Ring the bell. Big Bully Busick.
Well, Max Andrews is gone from the scene. No one has seen him for weeks. Hi, everybody. I'm Joe Pedicino back in the newsroom backstage here at the Global Dome. We'll be going back out for more great action in just a couple of seconds. And the newsroom, as always, is brought to you by the GWF hotline, where you can call and have a lot of fun and hear the latest news every day. Kids, be sure you get your parents' permission. Well, as we said, Max Andrews has all but been wiped off the face of the earth. No one has seen him for weeks. Ever since Marcos Villas came here from Barcelona, Spain, and told us that Max had been fired as the commissioner of the GWF, he has disappeared. He has not been seen in his office. We have not been able to find him at home. We've made many phone calls to Max's house, to his office. We have been rebuked every time. We think Max Andrews owes it to the fans of the GWF to make a statement and let us know just exactly what was going through his mind when he became the boss of the cartel. Let's talk about hooray for Tug Taylor. Tug Taylor has been watching for several weeks now. We thought Terry Garvin, but as it turned out, he was watching his son, Chaz. As most of you are aware by now, Chaz is Chaz Taylor. And thanks to a terrible incident with the Davis brothers and the Lightning Kid, Tug Taylor had to let everyone know that Chaz was his son. He had made a promise to Chaz not to expose that fact and let Chaz try to make it in professional wrestling on his own. Well, thank goodness Tug Taylor came to the aid of Chaz. What is going on with Bull Payne? Samantha comes to the ring with him on every match, and every match I have seen, she has interfered. Even times when she didn't need to, she put her 2 cents worth in. I think there are a lot of people, including one Sam Houston, that are going to be looking to put an end to the reign of pain by Bull Payne and Samantha. We'll be back with more on the newsroom next time.
262 pounds from Sturgis, South Dakota, Bull Payne.
All right. right, there you see Samantha and her man, Bull Payne. Now, Mr. Akbar, I am not familiar with Samantha. I have seen Bull Payne. Samantha, I understand, is he calls her his sidekick.
Well, it takes all kinds of professional wrestling, Joe. You see, probably he thinks that having Samantha's side is a little psychological edge. Who knows? Everybody has a different way of preparing for wrestling matches.
Well, this will be interesting. This is our first look at Bull Payne.
Bull
We'll be
Payne.
very interested to see this man in action.
Well, I can tell you his name sounds tenacious.
Well, if he's as nasty as his name is, he should be quite successful here in the GWF. There you see Samantha. Terry Daniels taking on Bull Payne here in our first event today.
Well, you know, Joe, sometimes it's hard to give credit to people that you don't want to. But, you know, young Terry Daniels has got a lot of intestinal fortitude. I watched him over the weeks, and he never backs out of a match. Now, he never backs out of a match. Now, probably he goes in that squared circle with the assumption sometimes that he may lose, but he's going to give it 100%, Joe. He's going to give it 100%, and he's really got a tough opponent in Bull Payne.
Well, he does, and as you see, Bull Payne is not beyond pulling some of those shortcuts. It probably looks like your kind of wrestler, Mr. Akbar.
Well, Joe Pedicino, look all across the country. Look at the history of professional wrestling, and you'll see where my managerial genius has created the greatest superstars in professional wrestling. That's without a doubt. You know that.
Well, I've got to agree to give the devil his due. You have been one of the top managers of all time in the world of professional wrestling. And your coast-to-coast connection that you have now wrestling in the Global Wrestling Federation, one of the most dangerous units of wrestlers I've ever seen.
Oh, yes, I've assembled a tremendous team. And the self-proclaimed enforcer, as he calls himself, Wild Bill Irwin. You know, I had a history with Irwin.
Look at this. He's just driving his knuckle into the forehead.
So we can see right now that Bull Payne is not fooling around. He means business.
All right, you were speaking about Law and Order, Wild Bill Irwin.
Now, Joe, I had a history with this guy. I pulled him out of the gutter and made him a superstar at one time. But, you know, he's got a short memory.
Well, I happen to think that he's got his priorities set straight, and I happen to think that Law and Order might be just what we need here. Now, look at this. Bull Payne has got Terry Daniels up on his shoulder. Where's he going to go with him? Power slam.
Not only is he roughhouser, he's strong.
Oh, and he pulled him up.
I kind of like this guy, Joe Pedicino.
I thought you would.
Yes, I do. I kind of like this guy. Bull Payne. Give us a shot of Samantha. Where's
Look
Samantha?
at that, over the top rope.
Yeah.
Terry Daniels all the way out by the stage. Now and Payne just drives his back right into that ring.
Well, he's using every opportunity or advantage that he can, Joe. Oh, there's Samantha. Hey, she's a tough gal. Yeah. Is she a tough gal or isn't she?
She must be. She just put the boots to Terry Daniels.
Oh, yes. Terry Daniels is in a lot of trouble right now. Now, this is the kind of wrestler that I've always looked for, Joe.
Well, does this mean you might be going to talk to Samantha and Payne
about
joining
so. Who knows? I've always looking. You know, this man fits like the bounty hunters that I used to hire. Remember? I always liked those bounty hunters.
Now, Terry Daniels, I thought kicked out, but now that I look, he was pulled up. Payne gave him a literally almost a flying DDT.
Bull Payne is making an impression on Terry Daniels and everybody else in the global wrestling, I can tell you right now. He's a tough man.
Payne's pulling Daniels up now. What's he going to do?
Right.
Daniels reverses it, throws Payne into the corner, goes in after him.
Mental mistake, Joe. That was a tactical area. I'll tell you now, Terry Daniels is going to live to regret that one.
Well, Payne now looks like he's going to the top.
I get excited watching this. This is my kind of man, Joe.
What's he going to do
I'm glad you invited me out here. I invited myself.
Look at that move off the top
what a move, what a move, what a move.
There's your 3 count. Bull Payne, the winner of this match over Terry Daniels. Terry Daniels just honestly outmatched in this one. There's Samantha telling the referee keep his hands off.
What she got in her hand, Joe?
Well, there's your winner, Bull Payne. We'll be back with more.
The Global Wrestling Federation Television Champion, the Patriot. The Patriot handing out the stars and stripes to the fans around ringside here at the Global Dome. And what a tournament final it was as Buddy Landell jumped him from behind with the red, white, and blue shining through.
We thought the Patriot was thoroughly beaten after the match with Chris Walker and then being jumped by Buddy Landell to start the final match. He came through, unbelievable match, unbelievable tournament. He is now the GWF champion. There's a great look at that beautiful GWF television belt.
John Tatum, the opponent for the Patriot. Now Tatum waltzed into the Global Wrestling Federation saying, hey, I want some competition. You know me from my past abilities and records. Now I want competition, and of course, look who the competition committee gave him. The man who is the television champion, the Patriot.
Well, there is no better competition in the GWF ever than the Patriot. The television champion won that grueling tournament. He is now the champ. He's got the belt. He's taking on all comers, and you got to give him credit here, Craig. On a television match with the television belt, he's taking on a great competitor in John Tatum.
Tatum tried chop after chop after chop. There's no taking down the Patriot as he just looks at John Tatum and goes, oh my Lord. And Tatum's going, ha, what did I get myself into?
It's like chopping concrete in there as John Tatum puts the hands to the massive chest of the television champion and comes back much the worse for the wear.
I understand Bonnie Blackstone is standing by with some comments from one of our fans. Bonnie?
Craig and Scott, you're exactly right. I'm here with Miss Shanna. Oh, taking a look at this great Patriot match. What do you think about the Patriot?
He has a great body, great move. I wonder who he is.
So does everybody else, Craig.
Well, John Tatum thinks that he has the Oriental martial arts set down. Don't look behind you. Hello. Press slam. The Patriot brings him down. Tatum says, please, oh, please. As the man, the purveyor of the bionic pout, has met the Patriot.
The bionic pout, huh? John Tatum has a career in television commercials or something with a face like that. I don't know how much of a career in wrestling he's going to have after he's in there with the Patriot, but John Tatum isn't some Johnny-come-lately in there, if you're pardon that pun. He's an accomplished title holder, and oh, no.
Well, John Tatum has cried at the loss of many women, but now he's crying at the fact that he said, bring me the competition, and he got it. Sometimes you get what you ask for.
Look at that face. Oh, boy. And the Patriot's ready. No, we can't see what the Patriot's doing.
Well, the Patriot waiting for the appearance of John Tatum back into the ring. And I don't know if our TV crew knows about it, but he just walked right behind us. Rasta the Voodoo Man has come down to ringside.
What?
The Patriot looking down at ringside as Rasta the Voodoo Man has come down. Who is he looking at? The Patriot or John Tatum?
He's not looking at me. That's all I care about.
Tatum comes down and apparently hurts his knee. He went for the leapfrog. But right now, if I was either man in this ring right now, I'd be worried about the man on the outside as he just lurks around the outside.
That's a good look at Rasta the Voodoo Man, and look at the development on Rasta.
And apparently that was enough for the California kick. Distraction by Rasta on the Patriot, and that savant kick from Hollywood John Tatum. Konnichiwa. Yes, Ichiban, he says. Rasta.
Konnichiwa is a Japanese food, I think. Uh-oh, watch him.
Rasta apparently pointing at the Patriot with that mystical cane of his.
Is the Rasta laying down the gauntlet, Craig? Is he putting it, is Rasta making it known that he wants the Patriot? Oh, boy, what a match that would be between Rasta and the Patriot. Look at that. Look at Rasta. He's right there. Doesn't want to interfere, apparently. Not putting a hand on the Patriot.
The Patriot with a monkey flip. Is he going to get John Tatum down? Maybe? Maybe? Tatum comes down right on the forehead.
Now what is Rasta doing? There's a look at the big man.
Apparently, Rasta has seen enough as he has given his whatever, not well wishes to the Patriot and makes an exit. Meanwhile, back in the ring, Tatum and the Patriot, blow for blow, going at each other, but the Patriot with a series of right hooks. The Patriot gets him with a shoulder block. Fans getting into it here at the Global Dome. Into the ropes, Patriot high drop kick. Goes for the cover. Count of one, count of two. Tatum slips up. The Patriot picks him up. Power slam. Red, white, and blue style. Now, the Patriot climbs the ropes. The low trajectory, high-speed Patriot missile aims in, readies, and fires.
Oh, got him. Direct hit.
Ladies and gentlemen, retaining the GWF TV title, the Patriot!
We'll be back with more after these words.
Well, the Warriors are on the warpath today in the Global Wrestling Federation. Gandor, I know you've had some run-ins with these two men.
Oh, yes. Second-generation wrestlers, I might add. But they've always been this good at two shoes if you get my drift.
Well, I don't know. The fans seem to like it.
Well, Joe, you know what I like. And the Warriors is not that particular type of wrestlers that I'm looking for. Of course, you know, they are good wrestlers. They've made a tremendous, tremendous showing in the global wrestling. They're high in the rankings, I know that. And here we got big, what does he call himself? Mike Blackheart and tough Tony George, two big guys.
Yeah, Butch Blackheart and Tony George.
Butch, I stand corrected.
Well,
I stand corrected. Butch,
all right, Butch in the ring now.
Now, I believe that the team of Blackheart and tough Tony George are the last experienced team.
Well, I do too. Look at that move. That move just about proves that.
Oh, yes, yes. And I was almost over. I get a little flabbergasted sometimes, bro. I get a little excited watching these matches. You know, because that's the way I always get my talent. People, I get cards, letters, telegrams from all across the world saying, how do you mold this talent? You got to look for particular things in different individuals. Some of them are rough housers, some of them have that wrestling technique, but I know how to put it all together, Joe. I'm the man of that. Glad you invited me, Joe. I invited myself.
I was just going to say, if I recall at the opening of the show, you sort of invited yourself.
Right. Big maneuver. All right.
Youngblood now just takes and throws Butch Blackheart. In comes Tony George.
Well, that was a mistake on Tony George. He should have stayed out of the ring. I can't believe that.
Well, the Warriors are cleaning house with Butch Blackheart and Tony George.
They've definitely got that advantage because they're tough in that tag team competition.
Blackheart not so anxious to jump back into the fray here.
Yeah, he might try to tag tough Tony George in, you know. But, you know, the Warriors are really good. You really have to give them credit, especially in tag team competition. But, you know, I never see them in single matches. Why, Joe?
Well, because they're a team, Akbar.
Yeah, but why
they're
don't they
tag team specialists. They go in there and they know how to wrestle in tag team. I'm sure they would be great competitors in single matches.
Well, John Tatum would wrestle single. I know Rugged Rod Price, Sweet Daddy Falcone. They don't back away from anybody.
Well, I just know that the Renegade Warriors go after the tag team competition, but I feel very confident that either one of the two would be good in single competition also.
Well, I think that'd be at a disadvantage.
Well, I'll agree with that. They are tag team specialists, as I said. All right, comes off with a shoulder blocks, got him down. And there he goes over him, and now he's waiting for him. And there's that Indian chop. There's another one, and Blackheart all the way out of the ring. The Renegade Warrior going after him.
It's like Blackheart's retiring for the evening. I don't know what's wrong with him. He's got to get more of that tenacity in him. He's got to get that. That's another thing.
Did you see that? A drop kick off the ring apron right into the chest of Butch Blackheart, and Blackheart doesn't know what day it is.
They've got to get in. They've got to regroup. George and Blackheart have to regroup, get that killer instinct in, go in that square circle, and get it done. I believe they can upset these boys.
Well, the way things are going right now, it would be an upset.
It'd be a big upset.
Yes, it would. crashing right into the big boot. Down goes Blackheart, 1-2, but he's able to kick out.
Well, at least Blackheart's staying in there. He's got a little guts.
There's a
But how long can this go on?
kick. I don't know. Blackheart, I think right now more than anything in this world needs to get over and make a tag. Although I don't think Tony George is that interested in jumping into this, if you get my drift.
Oh, well, you know.
Tony George is liable to, I believe the term is short arm him. Look at this move now. Goes into a standing version of the octopus, the abdominal stretch.
That's what it is. Abdominal stretch. You're right. You're right.
And look at Tony George looking on. Oh, I tell you, that good camera work there by our
you got to do everything you can at any given moment. I remember when I was wrestling, the main thing, you got to get the drop first, and you got to plan. You've got to get ahead of this. Your opponents. Are you going to get worn down in that match? That's what's happening to Mike Blackheart, Butch Blackheart.
Let me ask you a question. Is it true? Look at this. Beautiful suplex. I understand you have a plaque hanging in your office that says, win if you can, lose if you must,
that's right,
but cheat at all costs.
That's right. That's right. That's right. You know, I select my female person, the people of the year. I select them all, you know. Leona Helmsley was my choice. Leona Helmsley.
Why that doesn't
and as for officiating, you remember the Missouri, Colorado, and collegiate football? I take those officials anyway. They give them 5 downs. Yeah, I'll take those. They were my officials of the year, Joe. I got a plaque for those. Yeah, that's right. Leona, her picture's in my face.
Oh, my goodness. That foot right to the face of Tony George, and now a meeting of the minds between Butch Blackheart and Tony George, courtesy of the Renegade Warrior. Now, where are we going with this one? All 4 men are in the ring. They've got them up. There goes one, there goes the other, and once again, the 2 teammates meet in the middle of the ring. Wow. There's a double boot, and Blackheart is all the way over the top rope. Here they go. The Warriors are setting George up. He comes off.
Oh, look at that. Oh,
chop right into him off the top rope. 1, 2, and yes, a 3 count. Rick Manny makes the 3 count.
The party is over.
The Renegade Warriors victorious in this match today here on the GWF. We'll be back. We've got 6-man tag team action coming up right after this.
Coast-to-coast connection.
There you see him. He's left our mic side here to go down and be at ringside with his coast-to-coast connection, Skandor Akbar, with Sweet Daddy Falcone, Rod Bright, John Tatum. He calls them the coast-to-coast connection. They will be taking on the team of Larry Green, Todd Overbow, and Manuel Villalobos. And this should be quite an exciting 6-man tag team match. Now the connection wanting to get into this a little bit early before the bell rings. And I see somebody walking up to the mic side here with us, who is going to sit here with us during this match, who has quite an interest in the coast-to-coast connection. And Black Bart, welcome to the mic here at the GWF. And I know that this coast-to-coast connection is a lot of interest to the Wild Bunch.
I'll tell you right now there, Joe Palacino, they're real big interest to me and old Wild Bill Irwin and that dadgum rattlesnake. That was a heck of a dadgum arm drag right there by that kid right there. What's that?
Manuel Villalobos, and he just tagged in Todd Overbow.
Overbow. All right, now, hey, I've seen a lot of this big guy right here, that Al Falcone. I'll tell you what, he's a big, tough son of a gun. Where he's from there, Joe?
Well, he's from New York. As a matter of fact, from...
I didn't know them dadgum Yankees could grow that big. Look at that sucker.
He's a pretty good sized one, but he's from New York City.
See that this kind of stuff right here that Wild Bunch.
Look at what they're doing with Overbow.
Hey! D.M.N.E. Cricket, did you see what they just did? And look at that ball. They threw that man over the top rope.
While John Tatum...
Look at that. I was tagged. He was my manager for a long time, and I never did like all this stuff. They paid me pretty good. See how that stuff just ain't right, Joe.
Well, while the referee was being distracted, the other 2 members of the coast-to-coast connection literally picked Todd Overbow up and held him over his head and threw him down. Now, look at this. They're just watching
They are just watching while Falcone is destroying
Where's the
Overbo.
stinking referee at? Look at this. Akbar's standing there doing this, but just doing it, and there he is. Now, what do you think he was doing?
Well,
what do you think he
was over there talking.
Did he go get some popcorn and a Coca-Cola?
No, I don't think so. Look at that. Todd Overbo is beaten from pillar to post so far in this match.
They took him out behind the barn, and I will tell you something, Joe. They pounding this boy.
Power slam.
I don't... Joe, they're going to have to call an ambulance for this kid. Something's wrong here.
Well,
he needs to make a tag real quick.
Yeah.
He needs to get out of that dadgum ring. And you know, them fellas just ain't going to let him do it. They're going to cut that dadgum ring down to size, and they ain't going to let him do it. Now, you know, this is the kind of stuff.
Overbo moves out of the way. Falcone comes down.
Move.
He's ducking and trying to get out.
Get through
He's
there.
trying to make the tag.
Come on. That guy, you know, this is the kind of stuff that me and old Wild Bill and that rattlesnake's got to watch out for. And that stinking Akbar outside there doing all that stuff, that's uncalled for. If they kiss, I'm going to buy them a couple of dresses.
Well, you know, I said earlier in this program there were some rumors.
Rumors?
Yeah, but they assured me that they're just partners. They're just partners.
Matter of fact, in the back wall, go watch through the picture.
Well, I had a picture out here, and they tore it up. They wouldn't let me show it.
They tore it up.
Yeah.
That ain't right. That ain't right. They got
Falcone just out and out choking.
Picture too, wouldn't it?
Well, it was given to me by somebody who took the picture back in the dressing room, as a matter of fact.
I know what you mean.
Falcone throws Overbo in the ropes. Overbo is just about as out of his... Now, look at this move.
That is...
Look at this.
Oh, Lord have mercy on me.
Now, just count the man out. Oh, look at him pull a man up.
Now, why don't you just go ahead and take the 1, 2, 3 and let's get on out of there? This is the kind of stuff that we got to deal with right here. There ain't no sense in pounding this kid like that. Double feet. He run him into double feet.
Overbo desperately needs to make a tag.
Now, that ain't right. Now, if I'm not keeping this
now, Bart, you can't go down there. You can't go
I ain't
down
very
there.
far, and I got BB with me.
I know it. And now, remember, you're here as a announcer right now. You cannot go down the ringside.
Thinking a wrestler, and I can wrestle. They told me anytime. There you go.
There's a tag. Larry Green goes in. Now let's see how he does.
Beat him.
Well, there was Green's first mistake.
In that corner, you got to stay out of that corner. Now, where's the referee now? Watch that stinking Akbar.
The referee being manhandled right now as Villalobos was being thrown out of the ring. They've thrown both of the other members of the other team out of the ring. Now, Larry Green is completely at the mercy.
Look at...
And there's a karate kick straight to the face. And Falcone gets the 3
count. I want to tell you something, Joe. The stuff that went on in this match right here, I don't get to put out here very much with you, but it's wrong.
All right, let's go to our ring announcer for the official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winners of the match, the Coast to Coast Connection.
Some great action today on the Best of Supercard. We've got some brand new matches coming up here on ESPN. I hope you join us. For everyone here at the Global Wrestling Federation, I'm Craig Johnson. See you next time on ESPN.